Had a dream so big it felt impossible? That's how Alan felt when he asked his grandpa one summer day, "How do I become a success?" What his grandpa did next was so unexpected, it changed Alan's life forever. Watch this story to uncover a secret that'll inspire you to chase your dreams. It was a golden summer, the kind where the days stretch long and lazy, and the air hums with the promise of adventure. A 10-year-old Alan had just arrived at his grandfather's cozy house in the countryside for his summer holidays. Grandpa Joe was Alan's favorite person in the world, a wiry man with a twinkle in his eye, a knack for telling stories, and a backyard that felt like a jungle of possibilities. Every day, Alan and Grandpa Joe would race through the garden, build forts out of old crates, or sit under the stars, dreaming up grand plans. One sunny afternoon, as they sat on the porch sipping lemonade, Alan turned to his grandpa with a serious look. "Grandpa," he said, "when I grow up, I want to be successful. Like, really successful. I want to do big things. Maybe invent something cool or lead a team to victory. Can you tell me how to do it?" Grandpa Joe's eyes crinkled with a knowing smile. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he stood up, dusted off his overalls, and said, "Come with me, Alan. I've got something to show you." Curious, Alan followed his grandpa down the winding dirt road to a small nursery at the edge of town. The place was a riot of color, flowers bursting in every shade, vines curling like green ribbons, and tiny plants poking out of pots. Grandpa Joe picked out 2 small saplings, their leaves barely bigger than Alan's thumb. "These," he said, holding them up, "are going to teach you about success." Alan scrunched his nose. "Plants?" "Grandpa, I meant like real advice. You know, tips and tricks." Grandpa Joe just chuckled. "Patience, kiddo. You'll see." Back at the house, Grandpa Joe got to work. He handed Alan a clay pot and showed him how to plant one of the saplings inside it, nestling its roots in soft, rich soil. They placed the pot on a sunny windowsill in the living room, where it would be safe and warm. The second sapling, though, Grandpa Joe planted outside in the backyard, right in the open ground under the wide, endless sky. Alan helped pat the dirt around its roots, feeling the earth cool and gritty under his fingers. "Now," Grandpa Joe said, wiping his hands on his jeans, "which of these plants do you think will grow better, Alan?" Alan tilted his head, studying the 2 saplings. The one inside looked cozy, protected from the world. The one outside? It seemed so exposed. "Easy," Alan said. "The one in the pot will grow better. It's safe from storms, animals, and all that hot sun. The one outside has to deal with, like, everything." Grandpa Joe nodded, but his smile was mysterious. "Let's wait and see, shall we?" Summer flew by, and soon Alan was back home with his parents, his days filled with school, soccer practice, and video games. The plants slipped from his mind, but Grandpa Joe's words lingered like a quiet promise. 4 years later, when Alan was 14, he returned to his grandfather's house. He was taller now, his voice a little deeper, but his dreams of success burned brighter than ever. The moment he saw Grandpa Joe, he grinned and said, "Grandpa, last time I asked you how to be successful, you gave me plants instead of answers. This time you have to tell me something real." Grandpa Joe laughed, his eyes sparkling. "Fair enough, Alan. But first, let's check on those plants we planted." They started with the one in the pot. Inside the living room, the sapling had grown into a small tree, its branches stretching toward the ceiling. It was healthy, its leaves a soft green, but it looked confined, like it was pressing against the walls of its little world. Alan nodded, impressed. "Not bad," he said. Then Grandpa Joe led him outside. Alan's jaw dropped. Where the second sapling had once stood was now a towering tree, its trunk thick and sturdy, its branches sprawling wide like open arms. Its leaves rustled in the breeze, casting dappled shade across the yard. A family of birds had made a nest in its branches, and a neighbor sat beneath it, reading a book in the cool shadow. "Wow," Alan whispered. "That's huge." Grandpa Joe leaned against the tree, his face serious now. "Tell me, Alan, which plant grew more? Which one's more successful?" Alan didn't hesitate. "The one outside. It's way bigger, stronger, and it's helping people, giving shade and a home for those birds. But Grandpa, how? That tree faced storms, heat, maybe even animals. Shouldn't it have struggled?" Grandpa Joe sat down on the grass, patting the ground for Alan to join him. "You're right, Alan. The tree outside had to face a lot. Blazing sun, freezing nights, winds that tried to tear it down. But those challenges, they made it stronger. Out here it could spread its roots deep and wide, drinking in the rain, soaking up the sun. Every storm that hit it taught its roots to grip the earth tighter. Today, it's so strong that a little bad weather can't shake it." He pointed to the potted tree inside. "That one? It's safe, sure. It never had to fight. But it's stuck in that pot, its roots cramped, its growth limited. It's alive, but it's not thriving like this one." Alan stared at the giant tree, its leaves dancing in the wind. Something clicked in his mind. "Life's like that, Alan," Grandpa Joe continued. "If you always choose the safe path, the comfortable path, you might be okay, but you won't grow as big as you could. Success isn't about avoiding problems, it's about facing them. Every challenge, every storm, is a chance to stretch your roots, to get stronger, to learn something new. If you're brave enough to step into the world, despite the risks, there's no limit to what you can become." Alan took a deep breath, his eyes tracing the tree's branches. He thought about the times he'd been scared to try something new, joining the soccer team, speaking up in class, or even standing up to a bully. Maybe those weren't just obstacles. Maybe they were steps, like Grandpa said, leading him somewhere bigger. "Obstacles aren't your enemies, Alan," Grandpa Joe said softly. "They're your teachers. Every time you face one, you level up. Life's a great adventure, full of twists and turns. Those hurdles, they're puzzles waiting for you to solve. Tackle them, and you'll be amazed at how strong you can grow." Alan grinned, feeling a spark of excitement. "So, to be successful, I just keep going, even when it's hard?" "Exactly," Grandpa Joe said, ruffling Alan's hair. "Keep going, keep growing, and never be afraid to spread your roots wide." That summer, Alan didn't just play in the backyard. He tried new things, climbed higher trees, asked tougher questions, and even helped Grandpa Joe build a bench under the big tree for passers-by to rest. As he worked, he kept glancing at the tree, its branches swaying like a reminder. Face the storms, and you'll grow tall. Years later, when Alan became a leader in his community, known for his courage and kindness, he'd think back to that tree. He'd remember his grandpa's words and smile, knowing that every challenge he'd faced had been a step toward something greater. So, the next time life throws a storm your way, don't run for cover. Stand tall, spread your roots, and let the winds make you stronger. Because just like that tree, You've got everything you need to grow into something extraordinary. Thank you for listening to this story. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment below on which topic you want the next video. More stories are coming, and more English too. Thank you.